Gabriel, girl, I miss you. And my granddaughter, Kira. I don't hear from them from Wen and family. My aunts, Muriel, Auntie Ida, Auntie Maverny, Dalton. Everyone, I just want to tell them that we are alright, we are safe, we don't die, we don't blow away.
Exactly 1 week later, I'm back in the town of Black River, One Love family. Now, I'm here to just take a look to see if there's any difference in terms of what I saw last week. I know that basically the damage will be the same, but I just want to see if there's more order, because when I came here, all kind of activities was going on. People were desperate and people were trying to survive, which is understandable. So let's now see how Black River looks in its current state, and let's see what is happening in terms of activity in the town.
Yeah, people were there on the Black River Bridge right now. And that's what I say, St. Elizabeth at Black River right now. So see place mash up.
Everywhere mash up here now.
Wait, done.
Done.
Nothing no left. Nothing no left down here. Nothing.
No good right now, some food or some juice on the roadside. I was see that's what we get. Hungry. We get from a man in the road.
See it?
Yeah.
It's kind of rough and it's tough, brother. But we just give thanks and praise.
Where in Black River are you guys from?
From Burn Savannah.
Mountainside.
From Burn Savannah Mountainside, but we have to walk and look at the
from Burn Savannah. We're from Burn Savannah, St. Elizabeth.
Yeah. But we can't get nothing, so we have to look anyway. We get to look for food now, we just walk and beg for food to eat. Right now we're up on the street, we don't have nothing.
Process has seemed to have started here in Black River. They're trying to avoid any kind of loitering happening in the town. Trying to prevent anything that will stop. Traffic being managed. Go here against that buildings are being cleaned out. Rubble being moved. Sections of the road. Was covered in rubble. There was you could barely walk 2 inches without stepping over rubble, and you can see some of that muck and so being cleared out. We're going to walk towards the market where I would have shown you a lot of aerial footage last week to show you what had happened to the market. This is the tax admin Jamaica here in Black River. Ironically, when I was walking here last week, I could barely walk. I was slipping up all over the place because of the wet conditions. It's now a bit dry, but not much difference from what I saw. Now there's the market I would have looked at. And I told you, this time I came from the other side of Black River, and trust me, that side that I never saw before is also totally obliterated. I really don't know how long it will take from Black River to come back to anything close to what it was. Only time will tell. But it's good to see a lot more movement, positive movement happening now. You know, it's good to see all of the cleanup happening now. And you know, I never noticed this monument right here. It says the Zong Massacre. This plaque is laid as a lasting and solemn tribute to honor our 133 African ancestors who were massacred by drowning November the 29th, December 1, 1781 by captain and crew of the slave ship Zong during its voyage to Jamaica. The ship docked in Black River on December the 28th, 1781. At this site, the enslaved were prepared for sale in the Black River slave market, mounted by the Institute of Jamaica and Jamaica National Bicentenary Committee, December the 28th, 2007. So let's go further in the town now. Like we saw last week, that is what remains of the market that has been crumpled. And you can see over this side, you can see that there's a tractor doing some clearing of the area. You can see the tractor doing some clearing over here. So that would be the first part of the whole process, you know, getting everything cleared out before anything starts. Then there'll obviously has to be some planning. I don't know who will be part of that whole planning committee. Like the Prime Minister had said, Parliament, that there are some decisions that will have to be made, whether or not they're going to build the town this close to the sea, and if it's built this close to the sea, what is the construction going to look like? Because it can't be what has existed before. There has to be some new rules, some different look at in terms of how construction is supposed to be done, because we don't want this happening again. No one wants to go back through this kind of pain.
In a piece for the Atlantic Council, analysts Patricia R. Francis and Maite Gonzalez Latorre report that the island of Jamaica now faces approximately $8 billion in damage following the passage of Hurricane Melissa, an amount equating to nearly half the country's annual GDP. Jamaica had long been held up as a model of fiscal discipline among small island nations. Prior to the storm, it maintained a primary surplus of over 3% of GDP, reduced its debt burden, and secured an upgrade of its credit rating to BB- with a positive outlook. However, Melissa, the strongest Atlantic hurricane ever to make landfall in Jamaica, changed the equation. The storm inflicted catastrophic damage across central and western parishes, destroying roads, hospitals, homes, infrastructure in some areas. Up to 40% of buildings and roadways were damaged. The magnitude of the destruction means Jamaica cannot recover alone. The authors emphasize the need for innovative financing, including public-private partnerships and collaboration with multilateral banks and the private sector to repair and upgrade infrastructure. The scope of need is considerable. New infrastructure spending alone toward advancing economic parity is estimated at US $5.8 billion for roads and US $1.4 billion for telecom, 4G connectivity. Moreover, although Jamaica had arranged a US $150 million catastrophic bond via the World Bank, that sum pales compared to the estimated $8 billion damage. Given Jamaica's proven record of responsible governance, the authors argue that the responsibility now shifts to the international community, especially the United States, to step in not just with aid but with investment in resilience. Jamaica's vulnerability to climate-driven disasters means time is of the essence. They underscore that US firms and investors have opportunities in resilient infrastructure, renewable energy, connectivity, and housing, all sectors where Jamaica already has momentum and where strategic partnership can yield mutual benefits. Hurricane Melissa has tested Jamaica's strength. It found the island steadfast but not unscathed. The country's fiscal discipline is intact but insufficient at its own to rebuild at this scale. The clock is ticking for bold infrastructure choices and financing models that can meet the twin challenge of recovery and future-proofing against climate risk. In the view of the article, the US must show its climate solidarity by partnering with Jamaica as it rebuilds, not just to restore what was lost, but to build back smarter, stronger, and more resilient.
And I know for some of you, this might be a bit hard to take, but we have to just look at the process. Each step of the process. This is something that I myself has committed to following up continuously, not to just leave it just like that. Because a lot of the time, when things are trending, everybody focuses around it. When it's not, everybody leaves it alone. But this is something that I'm making a commitment in terms of the posts will eventually not be as regular as it has been for the last 2 weeks, obviously for obvious reasons. But I will definitely be showing you different stages, different interviews, talking to persons, hearing their perspective, looking at the town, watch the world build back. I make that commitment to you all. And I have to thank my wife because she has made a huge sacrifice to this whole entire process. I've been missing for almost 2 weeks. She's been there with the boys, mainly. I've been out early in the mornings, come back late in the night most times. And she has been that rock of support. I just really wanted to tell her thank you using this medium. I think this is the police station, which has also been severely affected. See all of the windows upstairs, a lot of them have been broken out. This area, when I had passed here, had a little bit more rubble, so this is a good sign. Some amount of clearance. This building is somewhat the same from what I saw when I was here. Here's the parish church, the St. John's Anglican Church. This is a huge heartbreaker for many people, as it really hurt about this one. All of its history gone, hundreds of years of history gone down just in one moment from Hurricane Melissa. One stroke by Melissa and the church just crumbled. So I think what we're on now is North Street. The intersection out here, this is High Street. And definitely this wooden construction is definitely will not be coming back here in Black River. All of that is gone. That Georgian design has no more place in Black River. The streets now are somewhat empty. When I was here, the streets were filled with individuals who were just scavenging, looking for something. So we're seeing more clearance and cleaning up happening here in Black River. I spoke earlier on, they're trying to bring back a sense of order. If you remember, I think I had shown a shot showing this wind surplus wholesale and retail supermarket. Here again is some more cleanup going on in the city. There are trucks, the stench. Trust me, the stench that's hitting me right now. That strong stench coming. Another building here which has been totally gutted. There's a tractor cleaning up everything. Trucks cleaning up where the digital office was on the upstairs. Some men cleaning on the inside of the whatever is left of the supermarket here. And there's another area that has been bulldozed to make way for possibly another establishment. Or as I said, the whole planning of the replanning of Black River a lot of other things will have to be taken into consideration, whether or not we'll be seeing these buildings here ever again after this. That is just a question that's currently up in the air. Whatever the committee that is put together decides on, that will decide what will happen going forward. Now here's the old court's office here in Black River, or what is left of it. It is now raining, which means that in a few, if the rain continues at this rate, you'll be looking at a lot of muddied streets, because there's just dirt everywhere you look here in Black River. And let's look on the inside of what the court's furniture store looks like. For those who are not familiar, Courts is one of the Courts and Singer and a few Kimlani and a few other brands are the places that you'd go to buy a lot of your furniture and electronic items, your television, your bedding and so on. You know, this is the company that would normally supply that. Here there are persons driving through in their SUVs, you know, inspecting what is happening in the town. Some of them are business owners, business operators. Some of them are probably building owners also. See over there, that's the High Street Furniture Center. In that plaza, that green and kind of blue building that you're looking at. Sunrise Wholesale and Bakery. I remember this building when I had come in here recently. You know, persons would have also, you know, taken stuff out in terms of when they were process of persons scavenging and looting to some extent. Everything here is destroyed. Therefore, I have a very close friend who's in the baking industry. But he's not from this area, he's in Kingston, who would basically understand what these persons would have gone through, would have lost everything in their building.
Good afternoon, this is Marlon Nation from Mountainside, Knoxville District. Gabriel, girl, I miss you. And my granddaughter, Kara. I don't hear from them from Wen and family. My aunts, Muriel, Auntie Ida, Auntie Maverny, Dalton. Everyone, I just want to tell them that we are alright, we are safe, we don't die, we don't blow away. My Uncle Carlton and Miss Phyllis in England, Uncle Milton in England, all the rest of families by my father's side, everybody. Just want to tell you that we are okay, we just need some food. Nothing there, family not gonna take, we hungry upon we. All my 50 years of life, I first ever see something like this. I just want to say, and all the SNC staff are alive and safe. Big up my boss, Miss Sonia Graham, and everybody, all our family. I just want to say, God spare us, God give us a chance. My church family, God give us a chance. And I just want to say thanks to this video man for this video. Gabriel, love you my daughter and mother. My number is 955-6010, Marlon Nation.
So One Love family, that's Mr. Nation trying to reach out to his daughter and his other family members. I think that some of them are overseas and some maybe in the country, because he hasn't seen or heard from them since this catastrophe in Jamaica. So I do hope somebody sees video with him and reach out to him via WhatsApp, because maybe a lot of the phone calls are not working unless they go to like the police station and they get to hook up to a Starlink that will help them. So I hope somebody does see that and is able to reach out to Mr. Nation to let just, you know, he says that him and his family and his co-workers are doing well. So that's a good thing. One Love family, even in the midst of all this tragedy and destruction, I have to take a minute to read this historical information about Black River. The river known today as Black River was initially called Rio Carbano, Mahogany River, by the Spaniards, quite possibly due to the dark appearance of the water caused by the color of the peat along the riverbed. The water itself is actually clear. Interestingly, the town was not always known as Black River. Under English rule, for example, the name Gravesend was used, and official documents. They later renamed the waterway Black River, and the town will eventually adopt that same name. The waterway was important to the town as it was a means of transporting goods both inland and to the coast. It assisted inland regions in getting goods to ships that were waited in the bay. Black River, formerly believed to be the longest river in Jamaica, has lost that title to the Rio Minho following recent research, but remains Jamaica's longest navigable river. It is one of the island's most pristine natural heritage features. The river is located within the largest freshwater wetlands ecosystem in Jamaica and the Caribbean, and continues to support a diversity of plant and animal communities. Today, the Black River is used for fishing and boat tours by nature lovers. So, even in this time of misery, we have to just stop and get that bit of history. Now I'm trying to make my way back to my vehicle. yes, sir. Respect, Chief. Yes. So, funny enough, I've run into quite a number of persons who have seen the videos and said, boy, good work. But, I just want to say thanks to everyone. I'm just trying my best. I've made a commitment, not only to coverage like this, but to record the history of my country.
In the wake of Hurricane Melissa, Jamaica now stands at a crossroads. The damage is real, the loss is heavy, but the spirit of our people remains unbroken. To rebuild, Jamaica must continue to work together, just as we always have. Community helping community, neighbor supporting neighbor. The scale of this disaster demands strategic partnerships, investments, and sustained international support. Our allies abroad, especially in the United States and the wider global community, have a role to play, not in charity, but in collaboration, strengthening our infrastructure, expanding resilient housing, investing in clean energy, water systems, and climate-smart development. Jamaicans will bring the courage, the labor, the creativity, and the heart. The world can bring the financing, technology, and global networks. Together we can rebuild, not just what was lost, but a stronger, safer, and more resilient Jamaica for generations to come.